10 years. 10 years. It's insane to think this. Because July the 17th, 2015 doesn't even feel like 10 years ago. And this video I thought I would never get to make. Hey there YouTube lovers, my name is BB8 and welcome to my 10th anniversary special. But you're probably wondering, what exactly is this 10-year anniversary special gonna be about? Well, basically, what I decided to do is I thought throughout the entire video, I would share my story on how I got into content creation, and towards the end of the video, I will answer 10 questions I came up with myself, so you guys can get a brief idea on the channel a bit more. So I thought, instead of making the content I normally make for my channel, I thought it's the 10th anniversary, I thought, why not make something different? And that different is I'm going to tell a story about my career, starting from 2015 to 2025. So, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? The furthest I can go back when exploring my interest of becoming a content creator was probably 2011. I didn't get my first Nintendo until Christmas of 2010 with the Nintendo DSi in blue. On it, I grew up with New Super Mario Bros., Super Mario 64 DS, Mario Kart DS, and a few Disney games. And while I didn't grow up with Pokemon, The Legend of Zelda, or Metroid, gaming looked to be the thing I wanted to do for a YouTube channel. And I don't think I've ever said this before, but I was not allowed to use YouTube at all growing up over a video titled Mr. Happy Face. A video of Mr. Happy from the Mr. Men with a Knife. Over that one video, I wasn't even allowed to watch it at all. Only because I had unusual interests for someone my age at the time, but because I was reenacting the videos. Meaning that I know it couldn't have been done today, but back then, if I even tried to reenact what was going on in the videos I was watching, I wouldn't even be allowed to use or watch the videos at all. Which, in my case, I wasn't even allowed to use the site entirely. Never mind that one video. The first ever video I can ever recall recording was me playing Super Mario 64 DS, which I did record on my mother's iPhone 4, since I didn't have access to a smart device or a YouTube account at the time, so unfortunately, the video will likely never see the light of day. So jumping over to 2012, after I got an iPod Touch for Christmas, I would always record mock YouTube videos on it, such as me playing games on my 3DS, me playing with my Moshling figures, and despite the quality not being the best, it was the best I could do for an 8-year-old at the time. And then around April of 2012, the one game that did become important to me down the line entered my life: Minecraft. At first, I could not play it on PC because of the cost, but Pocket Edition is where I made my start with Minecraft. And my builds were always insane as a kid. Not as good as those builds you see on YouTube, but I built blimps, a tower where each floor was made of a different block, a factory, an entire school, and even a zoo where animals made of wool, since Minecraft didn't have all those mobs at the time like they do today. And unfortunately, I wasn't popular in school because of the weird and creative interests I had at the time, such as Minecraft, Angry Birds, which I always used to make clay models out of them, Skylanders, and a lot more. Now jumping over to 2013, before I switched bedrooms with my sister, who was 1 at the time, and I was getting too old to share a room with my older sister, but before the room switch, one of my favourite things to do was record myself playing with my Skylanders using my iPad I had at the time and record them doing stuff. And this is where I was introduced to Video Star and VideoFX Live. Since TikTok wasn't a thing at the time, the way we recorded ourselves dancing to popular songs was with Video Star. And VideoFX Live, which I did use up until 2025, is what I used to record my videos with my voices being heard and without being restricted to the runtime of the song. And I can use multiple clips at the same time, so if I was to cut off and record another clip later, I could do that. And 2014 is where things got a bit weird, because this is where my older sister started a YouTube channel of her own, but ended up quitting in 2016. But back on track. I did think to myself at the time that it was unfair that my older sister was allowed to have a YouTube channel of her own, but not me. And no matter how much I asked my mum and stepdad that if I could start a YouTube channel of my own, I was always told no, because of the disturbing videos I was exposed to growing up. And that was where my more rebellious side started to come in. My sister's YouTube channel at the time was logged in to my mother's Samsung tablet, and I would always record every video she uploaded through it. And that's what gave me ideas to record videos of my own, such as recording my videos playing on my 3DS I had at the time, and showing off my night routine. But I got caught when my teacher phoned home because I showed videos to people at school, and my parents didn't know I was doing it. But I didn't know better in 2014 as I do today. But this definitely did showcase how much I wanted to become a content creator. And then finally, on the 17th of July 2015, I finally had a Google account created, and that's where my first YouTube channel was born. At the time, called My Universe, which, since I don't like to use my real name on YouTube or on the internet in general, that's what I'm going to refer my old channel as. And I wasn't called BB8 at the time because Force Awakens had only opened up in cinemas 5 months after I created my YouTube channel. My first video I ever uploaded on my channel was just an iMovie trailer of me and my sister doing stuff at my stepdad's parents' house, which is where a majority of my older videos which I recorded, which are now lost without actually showcasing what the channel is actually about. The two major creators that inspired my earlier content were Stampylonghead with his lovely World series, and DanTDM because of his custom mod adventures, which I recorded myself playing Minecraft on the Vita, kind of reenacting their videos, while also putting my own twist to it. I also recorded videos of myself showing others how to use classic crafting in console edition and how to place name tags on villages. And that was how I got my start as a content creator. So throughout the summer holidays of 2015, I would go to record multiple videos, such as me sharing my Inside Out Subway bags when the film first released, or me reenacting Five Nights at Freddy's, which unfortunately that video would not have been allowed to be posted today, only because it shows my sister pretending to stab me with a knife. But I can confirm that it was acting, and it wasn't real, but because of copper, videos like that would not be allowed to be posted today. When I first started YouTube, I was in my final days of primary school, meaning I didn't tell anyone about my YouTube channel until I started a new school in year 7. When I told people about my YouTube channel, they would go and visit the channel themselves. But little did I know that I would always get teased for what I was putting up on the channel. Like the video I would puke rainbows, where I used a Snapchat filter for the first time. But 2016 and 2017 were probably the trickiest years for me. off YouTube. Because growing up, I did not have a good relationship with my father. And that's what motivated me to make more content, as a form of escapism for how he'd been treating me behind the scenes. At the time, I wasn't allowed to tell anyone. I wasn't even allowed to tell my own teachers, mainly because of subjects being banned. And at the time, I did try to expose him in a video, but I was caught. And I was on the verge of committing suicide in 2016. And I can admit now, at the time, I told people I had an identity crisis of not wanting to be 13, but the truth was, I'd been mistreated by my father and I wasn't allowed to tell anyone. And that is where Frogboy comes in. On the 20th of September 2016, I uploaded Season 1, Episode 1 of Frogboy, titled Welcome to the Land of Art. This was a cartoon I developed myself, with the help of one of my school friends giving me ideas on episodes and stories that I can tell, with the show heavily being inspired by cartoons I watched at the time, such as Adventure Time, The Regular Show, The Amazing World of Gumball, Gravity Falls, We Bare Bears, and, of course, Pokemon. Considering that 2016 was the year I fully got into Pokemon, and the main character Frogboy was actually inspired by a book I read in school titled Fish Head Steve. It might be unbelievable to actually say that, but he was actually inspired by a book. But Frogboy was a successful coping mechanism for all the real stuff I had going on, because it allowed me to keep going, because I had a story to tell. And if I wasn't around to tell that story, then it would just be left. And it allowed me to keep going until across 5 different seasons. One season was unfortunately scrapped as a response to COVID-19. And despite the animation quality not looking the best, and people telling me to stop because it can get old and tiring, I literally didn't care and kept going with Frogboy until 2022 across 3 different channels. And now we move on to the worst year of my career, 2017. Apart from the songs that came out that year, not gonna lie, 2017 did come out with a whole bunch of bangers, but apart from the music, this was probably not just the worst year of my entire career, but the worst year I've lived in general. But off YouTube, I had suicidal thoughts, because this is where my mistreating was the worst, to the point where Frogboy wasn't even enough to keep me alive for longer. And no matter how many counselling sessions I went to at the time, I wasn't allowed to reveal to anyone, not even my family and friends, how my father had been treating me. But I'm not going to talk about the whole school part, on the other hand, but on YouTube, I wasn't doing too bad on the Frogboy side, but Frogboy the movie is where my career started to take a turn for the better and the worse. And while the movie did get 400 views on its original upload, it's the copyright strike that turned my career around. In one scene of the movie, I used the end credits composed by Michael Giacchino as the background music for the chase scene, and as a result, I wasn't allowed to upload videos longer than 15 minutes for 6 months, which would cause harm to Frogboy and its future if something wasn't done. And that's where I switched channels. After rebranding my universe to MyTube12 in 2016, MyTube12 to BB8's 13 in 2017, and BB8's House with the channel switch in November of 2017, and I've been on the BB8's house since. And because of the channel switch, I have learned that using copyrighted material can have some serious consequences. After switching from BB8 Obsessed 13 to BB8's house in late 2017, this gave me a chance to completely reinvent my online identity. I took this opportunity to learn from my past mistakes. I still carried Frogboy over from BB8 Obsessed 13, which I uploaded on BB8's house until 2019. With the switch, I started to upload gameplay videos of Rocket League, Minecraft, and later Fortnite with my iPhone in front of the Nintendo Switch screen, and while I only earned 20 subscribers in my first year as BB8's house, I did make it to 100 by the end of 2019. 2019 was the year I introduced another series that did become important later on in my career, that being A New Foe Has Appeared. Being inspired by Brawl Fan 1 and Delzathin, A New Foe Has Appeared was created as a series of moveset videos I would share online. And while it didn't perform well on debut, the algorithm did pick it up in 2021 and brought some of the earlier episodes up to 1,000 views, with my most viewed video being 26,000 views, not just in A New Foe Has Appeared, but my entire career in general, and it hasn't been dethroned since. 2019 was also the year that Frogboy aired its last episode on BB8's house on the 19th of August 2019, titled A Big Splash, before switching over to another channel with the debut of Parry and Barry's Birthday Bash, which was uploaded in May of 2020. And up until 2022, that is where I uploaded every single Frogboy episode I had on BB8 Obsessed 13 and BB8's house, and that's where I re-uploaded all of them. And I uploaded the feature movies I uploaded on the BB8's house channel as well, such as Inside the Controller and Welcome to the Mystic Woods. I am still in the making of some movies today, even though they don't look the best visually. It's the best I can do personally. And then came my least active year in my entire YouTube career, 2020. This was when the world was stuck at home, and thanks to home learning, I didn't have as much time to record new videos as I did before the pandemic. Because I was at home too much, meaning it would be difficult to record with the amount of people in the house. So, throughout the pandemic year, I made 2 fake Nintendo Directs. A Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Nintendo Direct and a Pokemon Direct. And I did end up axing fake Nintendo Directs completely due to taking too much time to develop. And I did promise an Animal Crossing Nintendo Direct back then, but unfortunately it ended up being cancelled only because I stopped developing directs entirely and it just took too much time to work on. The first half of 2020 was empty for new content, but by the back half of 2020, I was coming back into full speed by rolling out more episodes of A New Foe Has Appeared, as well as some concept videos to join the mix as well. But it wasn't until 2021 where BB8's house got picked up by the algorithm, because here is where BB8's house surpassed BB8 Obsessed 13 in subscribers. 2021 wasn't a good year off YouTube because of everything that happened with my father and stuff, but I did have fun on the YouTube side, since I did try live streams for the first time with Stream Saturdays, with live streams every Saturday from 7 PM till 10 PM until issues occurred, which did cause me to go on an indefinite hiatus, and that is where Summer Streamfest comes in. In 2021, I introduced Summer Stream Festival. The main reason I started this annual tradition was mainly because within the pandemic we couldn't go to actual festivals, so I thought I would start my own through live streams, which will last for 12 streams up until the end of the summer holidays, which I have tried to do every year since 2021, which it was cancelled in 2023 and 2024, and it will be returning in 2025. 2022 saw the introduction of BB8's House Reviews, with my first review being Metroid Dread, with the expansion of new categories such as retro video game adaptations, now called popcorn, remix, DLC, indies, and flow, with more categories to come in the future, with features such as the perk system, the gimmicks such as the double pack, and fusion would be included if more than one category was included in the videos. So if it was both retro and remix, that would be like a fusion review. And in 2023, I crossed 1,000 subscribers, with the channel that was formerly BB8 Obsessed 13 being repurposed into a personal channel in BB8 powered by BB8's House. And that is where I mainly post film reviews and film rankings. 2023 did also see the introduction of 2 new series in Whatcraft and Gameflix, which didn't perform as well as A New Foes Appeared, but I'm still trying to decide on their fate. I've come quite a long way since I started YouTube from a bedroom in my stepdad's parents' house, going through difficult times with my father, with Frogboy being used as a coping mechanism and switching channels. But I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for any of that. And I love what I do. I'm hoping to stick around on YouTube for as long as I can, until my first child is born, pretty much. Probably that will be the point that I retire. But for now, I will keep going. And now that we've told the story about my YouTube career, to end off the video, we're now going to move on to some self-written questions that I have about my YouTube career as a whole. So the first question is, why did I call myself BB8's House? Well, the reason I call myself BB8's House is mainly because BB8 was a nickname that mainly stuck with me since 2017, and that has been my online nickname since. And the reason I used house is to represent my online home, like my own corner of the internet. So if you use the term online house, that represents my corner of the internet. Like, my YouTube channel is my home of the internet. And the second question is, what inspired your channel's branding? Well, my branding has evolved over the years, and in 2021 my colours were black and orange, but in 2022 I mainly switched out black for purple, mainly because I don't want to associate myself with a particular website. But the reason I chose purple is because purple is the 6th colour on the colour wheel, and my birthday actually does fall on the 6th day of the month, and Big Hero 6 is one of my favourite Disney movies. But why use hexagons a part of the branding? And that's actually the same reason I used hexagons, because hexagons are a personal Easter egg. Because my birthday falls on the 6th and my favourite Disney film is Big Hero 6, that's why I used hexagons as a part of my channel's branding. But why did I end up using Japanese culture to represent my channel's branding? It's mainly because in recent years I have formed like a huge interest in Japanese culture, such as anime, Nintendo, Pokemon, and of course Sonic the Hedgehog, which is why I ended up using Japanese style branding for my channel. The third question is, how has my content changed over the years? Well, my content has changed quite a lot, because back in 2015, I would always record my videos with some form of camera in front of the device I'm playing on. Nowadays, I could just use a capture card to get that gameplay, and my editing skills have evolved over time. Because back when I first started in 2015, I used a mix of iMovie, Video FX Live, and pretty much anything really. And then in 2022, I edited my videos with KineMaster, and until I learned they had watermarks, I ended up switching to CapCut, which I use today. And the fourth question is, was there ever a time where you almost quit being a content creator entirely? Well, actually, yes. Because I have found myself in a lot of rough positions before. Like, I almost intended to quit YouTube back in 2017. This was before the channel switch. But the channel switch actually did keep me going, no matter how much conflict I was going through. The fifth question is, which video am I most proud of and why? The video I'm the most proud of is probably my concept video for Pokemon Unlimited. Mainly because what I did describe in Pokemon Unlimited was my dream Pokemon game. Because this is a concept I wanted to share as far back as the Wii U, with a fully open world Pokemon game with every single region in it, and that is a concept I wanted to share for years. So in 2022, the last video I made before I went on my Christmas break was my concept video for Pokemon Unlimited, which gave me a chance to make a 3-hour video describing my dream Pokemon game in detail. And it is a video I am hoping people get to see. Because if I had to say top 10 videos in my whole career, my concept video for Pokemon Unlimited is probably one of them. The sixth question is, what's something your viewers might not know about your creative process? Well, when it comes to coming up with an idea for new videos, I just come across different games online and then I get the idea. But when it comes to coming up with Mario spin-offs, I actually do get the ideas when playing the game. Like, I got the idea for a Daisy spin-off when playing Wario Land 4. I got the idea for a Bowser spin-off when playing Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. And I got the idea for a Rosalina spin-off when playing Super Mario Galaxy. Meaning, the concept videos I get my ideas from when playing different games. And even though the quality of my concept videos is not the best, I still feel like they're fun to make, because it allows me to share my ideas for certain spin-off games that could potentially happen, which I am hoping to get back to soon. The seventh question is, what is the hardest lesson I've learned when making my content? Well, this actually does date back to 2017, when I used licensed music in Frogboy the movie, which did cause the channel switch. And there, I learned to not use licensed music in my videos at all. And because of that, it gives me a bit of anxiety when my content is being checked, because I don't know if copyrighted content will be detected and I have to go back and edit the video again. The eighth question is, how do you stay motivated after 10 years? Well, even at times when I feel like I don't want to make a video. The reason I stay motivated after 10 years is because I don't have a shortage of ideas I want to share. And I'm hoping to get as many of those ideas out into the public as I can. No matter if it's a concept video, no matter if it's a BB8's house reviews, and no matter if it's a new foes appeared, there's still plenty of ideas to share. The 9th question is, if you were to go back to your first upload 10 years later, what advice would you give yourself? Well, this might be tricky, only because I was 11 at the point I uploaded my first video, and now I'm 21. But because I didn't have access to all the equipment back in 2015 as I do today, I would say if I was to go back to your first upload, be a bit cautious about what you put up there. Only because in 2017, I did learn about the copyright algorithm, but if I did learn about it earlier, the channel switch would not have happened, and a majority of my old videos from 2015, 2016, etc. would still be there. And the last question is, where do I see myself going in the next 10 years? Well, I do intend to keep going for quite a while, and I am hoping to carry on with Summer Streamfest every year, hopefully no cancellations this time. And I'm hoping to bring out Winter Streamfest as well. And fingers crossed, in the next 10 years, I would have uploaded my 1000th video. So guys, what did you think of my 10th anniversary special? I mean, this is the best I can come up with for my 10th anniversary. So I thought, why not do it? So, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and turn your notification bell on so you don't miss another video like this one in the future. And I will see you all within the next 10 years of content. BB8 out.